Let us settle in silence for this evening's guided meditation. Wherever you are in the world, I hope that you are seated and are able to absorb the atmosphere of the time-space that you are in. Whatever time zone you are, the atmosphere around holds a certain vibration at certain times. We can sit initially just being aware of that particular time of day and use this time to dedicate our minds to the Lord of the universe, taking the mind to be His unique sitting room, His throne room. With this in mind, let us gather up all the events of the day, regardless of their quality, all the thoughts, all the actions, like fragrant flowers, and put them into a mental basket. Mentally offer them to the divine. Let us be aware as we do this that we have never once used any energy that we personally own. All our energy is divine energy, freely supplied, a flow of grace that appears in hands and limbs and appears as a capacity to think that is a thought current that flows to us. Thus, during this time, use this thought current to direct it. We can direct it from the outside, progressively, inwardly, until we come to a sense and state of poise. So let us begin by offering all these activities as offerings of love. Let us share our various emotions and feelings and reactions of the day. Let us try to gauge the feeling of the hour. Now let us steep ourselves in deep silence. Let us not be afraid of silence. Let us welcome it. Let us observe any sounds around, but ourselves in our own hearts, let us be silent. Let us feel that this silence is the divine voice of God, whispering, as it were, in our ears. Throughout the day, it may be that tension has mounted. Let us relax the shoulders where tension accumulates. Let us relax the neck. There's nothing to be rigid or stiff-necked about. There is no reason to carry the entire weight of the world on our personal shoulders. Let's particularly relax that area, the solar plexus. Typically, if we have some tension, this is the area that we are clinging on to. Let us relax it. Let us adopt a let go attitude. That is, let us surrender all our feelings, all our thoughts, every impulse. Let us surrender to the source of our own being, that is the highest, the source from which all things come. Let us make sure our seat is well arranged, neither too high nor too low, and if you are sitting on a chair, make sure that the lower back is pressed into the back of the chair. Cross your ankles and tuck them in underneath. If you are seated on the floor or on a cushion, make sure that you are elevated sufficiently to push the hips forward. Make sure that this body is not going to disturb us for the next few moments. Make any final adjustments or shifts in your position. Let us now feel that we are surrounded by that infinite invisible, whose nature is pure love. Let us feel this love pouring over us, divine grace, from the top of the head, gradually down the body, washing and bathing us in divine love. And as this pouring takes place, pouring of divine grace throughout and over our entire being, let us feel that this grace is penetrating deeply into the pores of the skin, deep down in the bones, and deep down to the very core of our being. And in this very center, let us imagine something like the sun, but more brilliant. This, your divine inner self, is beaming outwards, reciprocating the inward flow of divine grace. One continuous flow going within and now to the outside. Let us join this inward and outward movement by being conscious that there is another inward and outward movement of breath. Let the inward movement be saturation of divine grace, and let the outward movement be a distribution of this to the atmosphere around you, to all those around you, to every person, to every place and shape and object. To every movement and event, let this divine grace flow, washing over every single object of sight, of sound, of touch and taste. And with this current, let us send this current as a current of love in every direction. Thinking and feeling, may all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be blissful. Let us expand our range beyond the planet Earth to all the galaxies and galaxies around, billions and billions of them, and the interspace between, and the worlds that we do not know of. Once more, let us assert, may all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be blissful. Let us tangibly feel these qualities in us, through us, and around us. And in every breath that we take, let us join the sound symbol of this divine glory and this totality and this flow. Inwardly, let us match our breath in and out with a sense of calmness. Let this calmness and peace be symbolized by the sound symbol Om. And if you have a mantra given by your Guru, use this mantra now. Let this mantra be the audio embodiment of your chosen ideal. In this way, breathing in and breathing out, the lungs are mobilized by that divine element alone. Let us saturate the body with the divine, glorious, blissful name of the divine itself. Let the words and the divine that they represent be one and the same. For all sound, all vibrations emanate from this supreme entity. Let us now center our awareness in the center of our being, in the lotus of the heart. Let us feel that we are centered there, and this shining entity is radiating in all directions through all the senses and through the mind. The sense organs are really components in their subtle way of the mind, replayed in dream and imagination. Let these rays be like strings that we draw in. Normally, these strings and strands pull outward. us now pull them inward. Let us withdraw our attention completely from all the external objects and from all the gateways, the outer windows to the world. That these energies be drawn deep within us and let us sink down deeply into the inner recesses of our own being. And there we find deep, deep silence. Let us consider the drama played in the spring season. Butterflies interact with each other, flitting and flirting around, delighting the observer with the most exotic colors. It is from this ritual that delights every eye that comes originally from eggs on a leaf, developing and growing into larvae, and the munching of leaves is enough for this caterpillar to weave a cocoon around itself. In this way, we too are woven with a body, mind, but internally there's the capacity for freedom, and often this is symbolized by this transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly from its cocoon. And these butterflies can settle and fold their wings in prayer, just as we also can fold our palms and adopt an attitude of deep salutation with folded palms and adoration and thankfulness. There is much to be thankful for. We too play a drama with the body and mind made from food, with the wonderful inherent capacity to create, the wonderful capacity to compose music, to investigate the very depths of the universe, to pose useful questions about the universe, about life, about breath, about energy. And these questions come with inner inspiration as solutions and answers. And they lead ever more inwards. And where this beauty was expressed, just as the beauty of a butterfly is expressed and delights every eye, so too this inherent beauty manifests itself. But deep within is unspeakable glory, unspeakable beauty, unspeakable bliss, centered in the lotus flower of the heart, with petals facing upwards. In this chamber, we can see and feel this incredible beauty and bliss that sits within us, that manifests outward, but whose light is steady at the same time, who lends its luminosity to all things. It is also this which lights the sun and all shining objects. And every being that has the capacity to absorb, to react, to observe, all of this life is because of this internal luminous entity, this self-effulgent, internal, pure consciousness. Let us see how it molds and shapes the form of our most beloved entity. Let us see and let us feel the intimate presence of this. And let us construct prayers of praise, adoration, love, affection, terms of endearment. Let us be the giver and receiver. Let us feel that this inner entity depends on our worship and love, just as we depend on its presence. Let us exchange loving glances. Let us dwell on the divine face of God. And in the inner depths of our soul, let us listen carefully for the divine messages of inspiration, the messages of love, the message of intimacy. And in this moment, let us ask for a yearning heart, for deep, deep love and devotion. Let us feel this flowing within us. Let us feel the inner light of wisdom burning within us, inspiring our mind in a creative way. Let us ask that we may never deviate from absolute truth. Let us ask that we may ever be attached to that one, that the divine heart and our own will beat in unison. Thy will be done. Let this intimacy increase in depth. Let this love be one without a second. Let us sink down deeply into this presence until there's emergence, only one, beyond words and concepts. Om Shanti, 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 peace, peace, and peace be all to all. We offer this short meditation for the welfare of all beings. We ask that our minds be never separated from this inner divinity,